Welcome in to the St. Louis Cardinals weekly recap here on 102.1 The One. Always the sure bet. I'm Maddux Radosevic here to talk Redbirds baseball and listen to the highlights of last week's Cardinals games with you every Saturday during the 10 a.m. hour. Let's remind ourselves of what team president Chaim Bloom said when he was introduced back at the beginning of the season as the new decision maker for the St. Louis Ball Club. Quote, "Our top priority will be to build our talent base for the long term. That may mean hard decisions and short-term sacrifices, but to get where we want to go, we can't take shortcuts. When we have to choose between short-term gratification and our bigger goal of contending consistently, we will choose the long term," unquote. What if you could do both, though? What if you could build up your farm system and plan for the future and contend? Well, those questions were going to be somewhat answered here this week. A 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies, followed up by a 3-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll start with August 8th against the Rockies at home, following a 3-2 Cardinals victory on Friday night. And to be blunt, Saturday was a sloppy baseball game. You had poor base running, an instance of left-handed pitcher for the Cardinals, Matthew Liberatore, not covering first base, a pass ball, a balk, wild pitches, just about everything that could have gone wrong did in this one, including the first pitch of the game hit over the wall by Rockies left fielder Jake McCarthy.
We'll see if Liberatore can keep down this very good Rockies lineup, and his first pitch is hit high and deep to right field. One pitch, 1-0. A long home run by Jake McCarthy, who unloaded and hit it into the Cardinals bullpen, his 12th home run of the year. And before folks can get settled into their seats here at Busch Stadium, the Rockies take the lead.
In the upstart Redbirds' pursuit to contend here in 2026, Matthew Liberatore has been one of the pieces holding the team back with an ERA of 6.64 in June and July night starts going into this outing. And his home run allowed to McCarthy, his 7th in 104 at-bats against left-handed hitters. Not an ideal situation for a southpaw starter. However, his teammate, designated hitter Jose Fermin, picked him up in the bottom half. He was in the trenches on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, a 2-run double to put St. Louis in front.
Burley will be moving, ground ball, base hit past the diving third baseman, and it's going to go to the corner. Burley was off with the pitch. He's going to score all the way from first base as Jose Fermin comes through with the second double of the inning, and the Cardinals now lead 2-1.
By the time top 3 rolled around, the Rockies were done messing around, posting a 3-spot that frame for the largest inning of the day. They eventually went ahead 7-3 for the biggest advantage of the contest. And that's when the Redbirds started to creep back. Catcher Herrera comes through with his 3rd hit of the game, driving in a run in bottom 6 to cut the Cardinals' deficit to 3. And then for the first time since July 9th, the home run derby champion himself, right fielder Jordan Walker, goes yard in bottom 8.
As Bernardino comes to the plate, and Jordan turns on a pitch way back. Get a new one out as Jordan Walker hits one way over the bullpen. All is forgiven. Jordan Walker's first home run since July 9th, and he didn't miss any of it.
St. Louis eventually got the tying run to the plate in the bottom of the 9th inning, still down by 2. Manager Ollie Marmol tapped pinch hitter Cesar Prieto to pinch hit. 0 for 22 on the year. Could he break out of his slump in this spot? Listen in.
Here's the next pitch to Prieto. Swing and a miss, and down on strikes he goes. Ball game over. Colorado wins this one by a score of 8-6.
It's difficult to anticipate a sweep in baseball, even when you're taking on a team near the bottom of the standings like the Colorado Rockies, and when you have the home crowd behind your back. Crazy things can happen, and clearly they did on Saturday. That being said, St. Louis still had an opportunity to win the series the next day. The Battle of the Michaels, a couple of righties for St. Louis, Michael McGreevy; for Colorado, Michael Lorenzen, who had 23 starts coming into this contest with an ERA around 7. You had to have liked the Redbirds' chances in this one. But once again, Colorado takes the first lead, and they take it early in top 1. RBI single from Hunter Goodman. Were the Rockies going to sprint away with this one for the second day in a row? In bottom one, Jordan Walker said, not so fast.
Pitch to Jordan's hit on the ground, right side, base hit. That'll tie the game as Burley stops at second base. Does not test the arm of McCarthy and Wright. And Walker comes through, swinging at the first pitch, gets RBI number 83, and we're tied at 1.
From there, the Cardinals started to pour it on. Bottom three featured a sac fly from catcher Jimmy Crooks and an RBI double by shortstop Mason Wynn. And then in bottom five, the game's first home run came about from first baseman Alec Burleson.
At home plate, there's a hard hit ball, well struck, deep right center field, and it's gone. That was worth waiting for. A home run by Alec Burleson. Deep into the bleachers in right center. His 19th of the year. RBI number 78. And it's 4-1 St. Louis.
Colorado did not quit. In top six, catcher Brett Sullivan answered with a 2-run home run. And then Hunter Goodman again, this time in top 8, leaves the yard. 19th road home run of the year for Goodman. That's tied for the most in Major League Baseball with Matt Olson of the Atlanta Braves. The Redbirds needed a response, and they got it in bottom 8. Second baseman J.J. Wetherholt had it covered.
J.J. Wetherholt waiting for the first pitch. It's on the way. Swing and a fly ball in the center field. Garrick is there. He can't get it. 2 runs are going to score. J.J. Wetherholt is driven in 2. He's going to try and go for 3. Here's the throw. He's in safely. Cardinals on top. First pitch swinging, J.J. Wetherholt gives the Cardinals a 6-4 lead, and I smell the coffee.
Ivan Herrera then tacked on an RBI single later that frame to extend St. Louis's lead to 7-4. His 4th hit of the game, by the way. Monster series for the Cardinals backstop against the Rockies. Advancing to top 9. One of the coolest occurrences that can happen in baseball is when a manager puts in a defensive replacement late in the game and that player rises to the occasion and ends up making a spectacular catch. That's what we got in this one. Left fielder Everson Pereira finishes things off with a spectacular play to end the game.
As Riley O'Brien comes to the plate, there's a ball that's popped up down the left field line. Pereira on the run, makes the catch to end the ball game. Everson Pereira diving from the backhand to end the ball game with a dazzling catch. Redbirds win this one by a score of 7-4. What a way to end the ball game.
The roar of the crowd means just a little bit more at Busch Stadium in the summertime when the St. Louis Cardinals are making a run at the postseason. And guess what? You now have an opportunity to join in on this excitement and witness it firsthand by entering our All-American Summer Giveaway Contest, either on 1021theone.com or through the One mobile app for your chance to score tickets to some Cardinals games at Busch Stadium in the near future and watch as the team attempts to cut into its deficit in the NL wildcard race. And it had an opportunity to do that starting on Monday, August 10th, going up against a team in a wildcard spot in the form of the Philadelphia Phillies. Righty Hunter Dobbins going for the Redbirds against the 1-8 righty for Philadelphia, Andrew Painter. Once again, early trouble for St. Louis in this one. Going behind 3-0 to the Phillies by the end of the 5th inning. But first baseman Alec Burleson got the Redbirds back in it with a 2-run single in bottom 6.
I think he was a left-hander, wasn't he? There's a pitch, and it's hit up the middle. Base hit! That's going to score 2. Wetherholt scores. Here comes Herrera. And the Cardinals get on the board. It's now 3-2. As we play here in the 6th inning.
What followed were 4 RBI doubles, starting with the Phillies getting their 2. First baseman Kyle Schwarber in top 7, and shortstop and former Cardinal Edmundo Sosa the next inning, driving in 2 and putting the Phillies ahead by 4. In bottom 8, it was the Cardinals' time to get their 2-baggers, though. Burley gets his first, then shortstop Mason Wynn grabs his, and then Jose Fermin knocks in a run to pull the Cardinals within 1 on an RBI single.
The pitch to Fermin is hit towards center field. It's going to drop for a hit. 1 run scores. They're going to hold up Wynn. Strong arm from center, and the Cardinals are within 1 as Fermin comes through. 5th hit of the inning for the Cardinals. and it's now 6-5.
We go to the ninth, and nobody on, 2 out. Cardinals still down by 1. Burleson at the plate. Could he save the day again and tie the game with a long ball? Listen in.
More than capable of tying it. So is the man on deck of winning it. We can get him to the plate. Swing and a hard hit ball to right field, but that's going to be caught by the right fielder Hill backing up. And the Cardinals go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the ninth inning, and the Phillies take game 1 of the 3-game series by a score of 6-5.
Moving on to game 2, Tuesday, August 11th. Righty Andre Pallante going for the Cardinals against southpaw Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies. Sanchez 5-0 in his last 5 games going into this one, and the Phillies were 18-6 in contests in which he started. Sanchez is Major League Baseball's leader in wins at 15. Certainly was not going to be easy, but Pallante went toe-to-toe with him. Pitchers duel still nothing in bottom 7 when Mason Wynn got the Cardinals closer to a win with an RBI single to break the ice.
Love to see one of those Mason Wynn hits to right field against this hard-throwing right-hander. The pitch is lined into right field. It's a base hit. That's going to score Walker from third, and the Cardinals take the lead 1-0 as Mason Wynn comes through in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Things were looking up for the Redbirds, but then in top 8, Ollie Marmol sent in left-handed reliever Caleb Ferguson, who walked 3 batters without recording an out for the 2nd game in a row. All of a sudden, the bases are loaded. Nobody is out. The Cardinals are hanging on to a 1-0 lead by a thread. And guess who's coming up to the plate? The National League's leading hitter, second baseman Luis Ariz for Philadelphia. Ryne Stanek, righty, out of the bullpen, in to try to save the day.
The pitch by Stanek. A swing and a ground ball. That's picked by Burleson, going home for an out. The throw to first. Double play! That's exactly what Stanek and the Cardinals needed. Wow. Schwarber's pinch runner, Hill, is out. 3-2. And then at first base, Ariz is out. 3-2-3.
St. Louis's 4th double play turned of the day eventually helped them get yet another scoreless inning up on the board. And then in the bottom of the 8th, Everson Pereira, who already made a fantastic play up against the wall in center field earlier in the game, then made some noise with his bat for his first long ball in a Cardinals uniform.
1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch on the way. A swing, and there's a fly ball. That's hit well to center field. Back to the track, the wall, it's a goner! Pereira's first Cardinal home run, and that's his 5th this year in the majors. Giving the Cardinals some breathing room at 2-0 as they light up the scoreboard here in downtown St. Louis.
Pereira's long ball was the last score of the game for either side. 2-0 victory for the Cardinals. Rubber match, Game 3 on Wednesday. Another good pitching matchup. Righties Kyle Leahy and Zach Wheeler duking it out in this one. Tied up at 1 in bottom 5. Ivan Herrera comes through with an RBI liner into center.
The runner at first base takes off. The pitch is swung out and lined into right center for a base hit, and the Cardinals lead. Prieto scores onto third, Wetherholt, and the RBI for Herrera, his 51st of the year. 2-1 Cardinals in the 5th inning.
The Redbirds posted 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th off Zach Wheeler, all with 2 outs, eventually winning the game at 7-1 over Philadelphia for their 3rd straight series victory. Don't look now, but the Cardinals are still very much in the hunt for the National League wild card race. That being said, we do have some additional coverage for you today. We don't usually cover the Friday games, as you know, on this show, but we are able to do it today since yesterday's contest was a 120 game up at Wrigley Field. The Cardinals lost 3-0 to the Chicago Cubs in Game 1 of that 3-game set, which continues today at 1:20 p.m. We'll be talking all about that game and the final game of that series, as well as a 4-game set in Cincinnati next week. And there's some big news that just came out recently. The Cardinals' number 3 prospect outfielder Joshua Baez gets the call up to the major leagues. 34 home runs for him in 103 games at AAA Memphis this year. Excited to see what he does this weekend and next week. Don't forget that you can listen to every single Cardinals game right here on 102.1 The One. Always the sure bet. You can also download the One mobile app from the App Store and visit our website, 1021theone.com. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's edition of the St. Louis Cardinals Weekly Recap. This is Maddux Radosevic signing off. Until next Saturday, so long.